Depending upon that, parallel processor is having the two types of the architecture. First one is called as a vector processor architecture and second one is array processor architecture, which comes under the single stream and multiple data stream. Now, third type multiprocessor architecture is multiple instruction single data stream. This type practically doesn't exist in the today's systems. So multiple instructions is given and single data is going to generate it. We can say that this will be a use for the multiplexing purposes only, and practically it is not implemented yet. Now moving to the fourth type, that is multiple instructions, multiple data stream. Here, multiple instructions is given to the processor as an input and it is going to generate the multiple output data stream. And depending upon that, again, this MIMD architecture is divided into the two types depending upon the how data is going to stored into the memory. So first type is shared memory, which is also called as a tightly coupled memory. That means on that processor, there are there are multiple processors are there. That multiple processor is going to share the single memory. That's why it is, and that is available on the processor. That's why it is called as a tightly coupled memory. Now next type is MIMD. Next type is distributed memory. Here multiple processors are there, multiple instructions are distributed on the different processor and multiple data stream is generated for the each processor. That means if you are having the four processor is having the four different memory for the storing data for the separately. So each processor is having its own separate memory for the storing the data, and that is distributed over the network. That's why it is called as a loosely coupled memory. For this, depending upon the memory which is used for the storing this distributed memory, is used for the storing SIMD architecture. Mainly, it is used in a cluster computing. And share memory, which is also we can call as a tightly coupled memory. Again, it is divided into the two types. First one is called as a symmetric multiprocessor and second one is called as a non-uniform memory access, which is in short NUMA is called. Like this, the multiprocessor organization architecture or processor organization will be done. That is, if you are writing this like this demonstration and each part two lines, if you are explaining, also okay. But in the answer, mainly we are expecting the first one, this multiple processor organization. And I have asked the question, demonstrate the multiprocessor working of the multiprocessor organization. So in that you have to explain the first level of the multiprocessor organization, that is this level, all these four types you need to explain, which is mentioned here. So in that, the first multiprocessor organization, first processor is single instruction, single data stream. In short, it is called as a SISD architecture. Then second type is single instruction, multiple data stream, which is nothing but the SIMD architecture. Third one is multiple instructions, single data stream, which is in single architecture. In this architecture, single processor is there. For that single processor, single instruction stream will be provided. On that instruction stream, the processor or processing unit is going to perform the task, and after performing the task, data is stored in a single stream only, single data stream only in the memory, and for that example is UD processor. Now all these things which is we are going to see with the help of the diagram. Here a parallel organization or multiprocessor organization, first type SISD, that is a single instruction single data stream. CU means control unit, PU means processing unit, MU means memory unit, IS means instruction stream, and DS means data stream, which is mentioned in this diagram for the SISD architecture. And now initially from the control unit, single instruction stream will be provided to the processing unit for the performing the execution of that particular instructions. After performing the execution of that particular instructions, it is going to generate the result in the form of the data or a data stream. That data stream which is generated, which is also single data stream, that single data stream is provided to the memory unit for the storing that particular data stream. So here single processor is there and single memory unit is there. That's and on this single instructions, on the single instructions operation will be performed and single data result is going to generate it. That's why its name is given as a SISD architecture, which is used in a uniprocessor, that is a single processor system. Now, next architecture type is, any doubt in this, students? Any doubt? Any doubt, student? No. Okay. Now, second type is single instruction, multiple data stream. In short, it is called as a SIMD. So, single instruction will be provided to the processor and it is going to generate the data in the form of the multiple stream. So, we need to control the simultaneous execution of the instruction operations, and there are number of processing elements which is involved in for the execution of the single instruction, and they are going to generate the multiple data stream. So this data is then we are going to that process all these process data into the data memory, and for that we can use the example vector or array processor. So we can see the in detail working of SIMD architecture with the help of this diagram. If you observe that, as I said that the single control unit is there, single instruction stream be provided. PE1 means processing unit execution 1, processing unit execution 2, up to processing unit execution of instruction N. So single instruction is divided into the multiple parts and which is going to provided to the processing unit for the execution. That's why name is given in this block PE1, PE2 up to PEN. Multiple parts it is divided. Then that particular instruction, after dividing into the multiple parts and provided to the processing unit for the execution, after performing the executions, it is going to generate the result in a form of the data stream. That is nothing but the DS, which is mentioned in this diagram. This DS data stream will be going to the next block, that is a local memory or local memory 1, local memory 2 up to local memory M. Here, each processing unit is having its own local memory. On that, data is going to store. So how this data is going to store, depending upon the either it is going to use the its own memory or that memory is going to share. There are two types are there here. So depending upon that, it will be take the that is going to store the data. Now, as I said that the single instruction is there and multiple data stream is generated for the SIMD architecture, which is we are used very rarely, but practically if you want to implement any application, it is not going to use here. Now, next one is multiple instruction single data stream. Here, sequence of multiple instructions are going to provided to the processor, and it is going to generate the output in the form of the single data stream, where sequence of data we need to provide. Second thing is, whenever we are transmitting the data, it is a set of processors are there through that we can transmit the we can give the data, and then that processor will be execute the particular instruction stream, and the result is going to generated in the form of the instruction sequence only. But this type of architecture is never implemented for, so that for this there is no diagram. Now next thing is that the next architecture type is multiple instruction, multiple data stream. For in short, it is called as a MIMD architecture. Now in this architecture, simultaneously we are executing the different instructions in the sequence, and set of data streams are going to generated. For this, we can use the example is symmetric multiprocessor. In short, it is called as the SMP. Or the second type is cluster processor, and third one is NUMA processors. Now here the MIMD architecture, the depending upon the data stream where it is going to store, again it is divided into the two types. First one is tightly coupled multiprocessor architecture and loosely coupled multiprocessor architecture. Now we are going to see the MIMD architecture for the shared memory. First, here the processor control unit is going, there are multiple control units are there, multiple instruction stream. IS is nothing but the instruction stream which is going to provide it to the processing unit for the executions. Each control unit is having its own the process, has its own processing unit. On that it is going to perform the processing, and after that it is going to generate the result in the form of the data stream, and that data stream will be stored in the shared memory. So if we are having the number of processors are n, but for the all processor shared memory is only single shared memory is going to use. That will be a example which is used here. Now if I am saying that the if you are having the, for example, processor, three processors are there, three processing units are there, three data stream is going to generated, but all processors data is stored in the single memory unit only. That is the concept of the shared memory concept. Here shared memory is available on that processor itself, and multiple processors are there. So here the example of this shared memory concept which is used in MIMD architecture is called as a tightly coupled memory. Mainly it is used in a symmetric multiprocessor architecture and non-uniform multiprocessor architecture. Now next type, MIMD next type is distributed memory. Means depending upon the how and where we can store the data, next type will be defined for this MIMD architecture. Now next thing is that as I said that the MIMD is nothing but the multiple instructions and multiple data stream. Here multiple instructions are provided through the control unit. CU means control unit. For this CU1 and CU2, CUN. Like this multiple control units are provided, through which we can provide the instruction stream, that is a IS, to the processing unit, through which we can perform the instruction execution operation. So for that also PE1, PE2 up to PEN is written. That processing unit which is going to execute the particular instruction stream. And after execution of that particular instruction stream, it is going to generate the data stream for that processing unit. That result of the data stream then stored in the local memory of that particular processor in a distributed manner in the interconnected network. That's why it is called as the distributed memory architecture of SIMD architecture. Now, next, this is related to the multiprocessor. Demonstrate the multiprocessor organization architecture, which is I have explained now. All of you understand this? Any doubt in this? Any doubt, student? Student, any doubt? Okay. Next question is related to the list out and explain the 20 stage pipelining for the Pentium 4 processor. This is the example of the multiprocessor organizations, how the multiple instructions are executed on the Pentium 4 processor, which is I have also explained in the detail. But so many students are not able to write down the answer for the same. We'll stop the sharing and share the another PPT. Wait for 1 minute. Student, wait for 1 minute. Okay. Uh, Now next questions. Students are not able to explain very well. That is a superscalar architecture. That is the which is I have explained Pentium 4 architecture for the RISC processor. In that the how 20 stage pipelining Pentium 4 processor is there, which is I have explained in the. You should not required to remember the total architecture of this diagram. In that also it is mentioned that how this 20 stage pipeline will be performed. But you need to remember only these portions which is mentioned here for the 20 stage pipelining. Now, in the 20 stage pipelining, first one is TC next IP, first and second stage pipelining. That is nothing but a trace cache next instruction pointer, which is used for the it is used as a program counter where it is going to hold the which next instructions which is you are going to execute it for that two stage pipelining instruction is going to use. Now next one is the TC fetch, that is a trace cache phase. It is going to hold the after the first instructions is going to take for the execution, what will be your next instruction which is going to store in that cache, that is going to hold in the third and fourth stage. And the next one is five is nothing but the drive, that is on where that data is stored, it indicate on the drive. Then That is the fifth stage. Now sixth stage is alloc, that is used for the allocate the memory for that particular instruction, that will be done in a sixth stage of the pipelining. Now, seventh and eighth stage is used for the renaming. That means if you are using the same type of registers multiple time, for example, if I'm using the A register, for example, B register is repeated or R1 register is repeated 2 times. So I can write down R1.1, R1.2, like that we can write down renaming of that particular registers to use the less number of register for that purposes it is used. Now next one is ninth stage is queue. That is a micro uh, operation queuing will be done. Micro operation queuing means that particular instruction are divided into the multiple micro operations, and queue is maintained for the execution of that instruction. Next is 10th is schedule. That is going to schedule the micro operation. After this, what will be a next operation? That means priorities are defined, and according to that schedule will be prepared for this 10th stage, 10th and 11th, 12th stage. Now next one is this 13 and 14 is used for the dispatch. After scheduling, that particular operation will be dispatched for the execution, and then it will be go to the next stage, that is the 15 and 16 stage is used for the register file for the storing that particular data. Then, or you can say that they hold that data or load that data into that particular register. Then pipelining stage 17 is used for the execute that particular instructions data, and then after performing the executions, it is going to set the some flags that will be done in a 18 stage. Flag will be set for the whether divide by zero operation is there, or you may say that some conditions are put. According to that conditions, these conditions flag is going to set. Now 19 stage is BRCK, that is the branch check. If you are having any branching operation, that will be done on the 19 stage. If not, then directly on the drive. That means that data is stored on the drive. Like this, if you remember only this strip and explain the all operations of the each 20 stage by 2 to 3 lines, that is sufficient for this. No need to explain all every time you need to draw this diagram and explain. That I have explained for the your understanding how it will be done, which is I have explained with the help of the diagram, the with the help of the arrow, each operation. So here we need to explain only that script which is provided for the uh, superscalar processor. Now, next thing is related to the whenever we are executing the particular superscalar processor. In that, the next topic which is students are not able to explain. Other than this, any topics you need to repeat. Only these topics student reminded me to explain again, because many students are not able to write down the answer in CE2. Other than that, any topics you need to repeat, please tell me. I will explain. Student, please tell me any topic you need to repeat. At least put it in chat box which topic you need to repeat or which unit you need to Aditya, speak. Roll number 8. Which topic you need to repeat? At the in same exam point of view, which topic you need to repeat? Please tell me. If you want, then I will start the all from the first unit in one lecture, second unit in another lecture, third unit in next lecture. Like that, I will start taking the revision of the all topics. Please tell me which topic you need to repeat, students. If you are saying nothing, then I will start it from the first unit itself. Or you want specific topic, I will like, concentrate on that particular topic only. No specific topic. Okay. Then from, if possible, I think from Monday you are having CAE 3 exam. I hope so. All of you done the admission process so that all of you can give the exam on from the Monday. And same exam will be start. All 4 units are there. Do not skip any topic. I covered all topics. And if like for the TY and BTech, their CA 3 and CA 4 is sorry, CA 4 is postponed. Maybe in same exam is going to postpone, but yet it CAO prepare the very well. And in second, most of the there is very little theory is there, only numerical double precision. Do it very well because in the CAE 1 also so many students precision. Student, if you want to repeat topic, I to repeat in or any to if you feel that it is difficult, I will. Shall I end? If you want, if you want. Okay. Thank you.
ये याद है।